Welcome to human history's greatest economic experiment. Created in 1990, Pudong is a special economic zone. SEZs have been used by the Chinese government since the early 80s as a way to attract foreign investment and test economic reform in a controlled environment. Shanghai is a city of 24 million. In 2010, Pudong accounted for 25% of Shanghai's GDP, and since experimenting with the SEZ growth model, China has held an average yearly GDP growth of 10%, the fastest sustained growth of a major economy in human history. But what is the price of foreign investment?
In a number of contract manufacturers for major foreign brands, a wide range of issues have surfaced. For example, employing people below the minimum age for work as student, or employing quote-unquote student interns, and then paying them substandard wages and requiring them to work many more hours than an internship would actually entail. Other kinds of verbal abuse, withholding of wages. If Apple subcontracts with Pegatron or with Foxconn, and then those companies subcontract with others to produce some components or to do certain work, and then a problem arises in a particular factory, who knew about that? Who's the cause of that?
Pegatron, a Taiwanese electronics manufacturer, employs 100,000 people in mainland China. In 2015, an investigator with the non-government workplace watchdog China Labour Watch went undercover as a student intern in Pegatron's Shanghai facility. He found workers, many of whom migrants from rural areas, living in overcrowded dormitories and being forced into voluntary overtime agreements. 109, the highest amount of overtime hours completed by a worker in March 2015. $2, the hourly wage for factory workers. $13 billion, the profit Apple made in 2015 in China alone. $6.2 billion, the cost of base wages for 1.6 million workers in Apple's global supply chain.
The problem is the degree of complexity and therefore opacity in these relationships. There's no easy way to sort of pin blame on one person and say it's this person's fault or this entity's fault. And that's particularly true when it's the foreign brand.
Exploitation is one of the many consequences of China's unrestrained growth. But for the 600 million people pulled from below the poverty line since 1981, the cost of doing business is justified.